time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, popped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, while enjoy your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
I'm Chris. I just like that. That was fun. I like that twist you put in there.
I'm going to try to liven it up a little bit, because I have to read it slower, so I had to do something to it.
I like it. And we're Noctoonber now.
Yeah, we are in Noctoonber. That's true. So this morning, for the first episode of our Noctoonber celebration, we watched Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost. Of course we did. This one was one I've been looking forward to just for some closure, really.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long road. It's been a real long road. Like I said, we're last episode, we're almost at episode 200. And this is the fourth Scooby-Doo movie thing that we've done.
I think that we watched 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo back in episode 53 or something like that.
No, it was even sooner than that. It was like episode 3.
Really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
I can verify, but I'm pretty sure episode 3, which was, oh my God, how we were such young men back then.
That was
we were just boys.
Audio clips. That was before anything else. We didn't even know how to.
Before podcasting.
Talk into microphones. Nothing. Predated podcasting.
Yeah. I don't know how we made a podcast before podcasts, but yeah, episode 3.
Wow.
Episode 3 of our show was
Holy crap.
The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Dang.
3 years ago, man. 3 years ago.
I recommend not listening to that because it's probably bad.
But you could hear the perfect voice of Flim Flam. So, I mean,
yeah,
you got to.
So who suggested this to us?
This was suggested by Space City Erlin via Twitter and MLP fan forever 27. Does that mean, wait, hang on. Does that mean I'm guessing MLP is My Little Pony.
Yeah.
So does that mean, so My Little Pony fan, and then is it forever, and you're the 27th one that is the fan forever?
She's forever fan number 27?
Yeah, or she's an MLP fan, but she's also forever 27 years old.
Oh, man, I wish I was still forever 27.
Yeah, me too. I wish you were.
Her name is also Caitlin Ward. I just want to point that out in case.
Okay, thanks, Caitlin.
Her Twitter handle is MLP fan forever 27, and we had wanted to watch it anyway. I think I threw it out there, then someone else brought it in, then she brought it in, so it was gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we swore to do it.
Well,
after
we had
the last
to.
One that we did.
We had to because we wrapped up the Red Shirt Shaggy saga beforehand. We thought, and then this came in, and this is kind of a nice bow on that. He doesn't have his red shirt in this, but it is brought up.
I mean, he kind of has a red shirt at one point, but not for long.
True,
but yes.
True. Okay.
It's just the blood staining his green shirt.
So the movie Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost aired this year, 2019. It literally came out maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago, something like that. Pretty recently.
Yeah.
This is based on the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo by Hanna-Barbera Productions, directed by Cecilia Aronovich Hamilton, written by Tim Sheridan, produced by Warner Brothers Animation. So it came out on February 5th, actually. I have it right here on DVD and digital. And yeah, we had just waited to watch it until October because it was more appropriate that way.
It's tradition at this point, man. It's tradition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for a short synopsis of this movie, written by Podsto, Podsto, Podsto.
It's got to be.
Scooby-Doo and the gang must track down the last of 13 ghosts they had hunted years ago. That's true, kind of.
Yeah. What's weird, though, is in the canon of this film, I don't think it had been years that passed, but I'm not entirely sure.
It couldn't have been
months, or maybe it was years.
Well, it couldn't have been that many years in this canon because they're still teenagers. They're 18. They're not even 18 yet.
Yeah, I thought that was weird because I was expecting by this point they are I assumed in their 20s or something. But no, they're still all supposed to be like high school age, which is crazy.
Yeah, they're just ageless. They're forever 20. Oh, no, not even 21. They're forever 17.
Ooh, I like it.
So just to kind of preamble this a little bit. So 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo ended before they actually got to the last episode. So it was 13 episodes long, the first episode being just the intro, and then they caught 12 ghosts, but they never cut that last one. Series just had to end. It got canceled. So that's where this movie comes in to kind of wrap that up. So who are some of the actors who played in this movie?
So the voices of both Fred and Scooby-Doo were done by Frank Welker, Daphne voiced by Greg Griffin, Shaggy by Matthew Lillard, Velma by Kate Micucci, Flim Flam by Noshir Dalal, Vincent Van Gool by Maurice LaMarche, and Asmodeus and Mortifer by Nolan North. So like a pretty big cast. And honestly, I mean, this is the cast that any modern Scooby-Doo show or movie, this is the cast you're going to see every time. Frank has been doing Fred since the beginning. He's the only original cast member still going. His voice has not changed. It's amazing.
That is insane.
It's just that now he does double duty and he does Scooby-Doo as well. But you always, I mean, for the foreseeable future, see Gray, Matthew, and Kate doing Daphne, Shaggy, and Velma. So that is the cast.
I think what's really impressive is that Matthew Lillard both plays a great Shaggy voice and a great live action Shaggy. That's like...
Yeah. If you didn't know, he is the one from the movies.
Yeah, so he's the one who took over right after Casey Kasem, and he's just a perfect fit for this. He sounds just... I mean, it's almost a voice match, and he just looks like the dude, so it's perfect.
He does a great job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he kind of looks like our friend Jim a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Not Casey Kasem, Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, right.
Like if anyone played Jim in a biopic, it would be Matthew Lillard. There. That's fun for us.
So for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of 13 Ghost cereal, this film pays tribute to Vincent Price, actor who lent the voice to Vincent Van Gool in the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, 1985, and who died in 93. So yeah, Maurice LaMarche, he is a perfect Vincent Van Gool voice, or perfect Vincent Price voice in general.
Yeah, nailed it. You'll recognize him from things like Pinky and the Brain, where he played the Brain. He does a lot of voices in all kinds of stuff, but he does do the perfect Vincent Price impression.
And Orson Welles. He does a really great Orson Welles voice, too.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
This film celebrates the 50th anniversary of the Scooby-Doo franchise, which is crazy. I didn't even know that.
Oh.
The trailer was released on November 7th, 2018, 13 weeks before the movie's release. So that was kind of a fun thing. Probably intentional.
Oh, clever.
Mm-hmm. So had you heard of this prior to it coming out? Like any knowledge of it or anything like that?
Yeah, I knew it was coming before it released. And I feel like that I think we found out about it around this time last year, around last October.
I think you're right.
I think when we were doing what we thought was going to be the last Red Shirt Shaggy flick, I think that's when we found out. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it was about the same with me. Like I found out the same time you did, probably during that research for this. And yeah, this will be fun. Let's go ahead and start talking about it.
Let's do it.
So it starts with some animals running in the forest. There's a lot of chipmunks or squirrels eating strawberries in this for some reason.
Have you not seen chipmunks eat strawberries?
Not to my knowledge, but it's very apparent in this movie.
Honestly. I haven't. I've seen them they eat some crazy stuff though. I literally one day going into work saw a squirrel running through the parking lot with an entire slice of pizza. It was gripping it by the crust in its mouth and just running like it just found freedom for the first time.
That is the luckiest squirrel. His life is never going to be the same.
Time of his life. Yeah, dude.
This starts with the animals running through the forest, and we see Vincent Van Gool followed by his friend Mortifer. They have the chest of demons. They are kind of trying to capture this one demon in it. Yeah, they are a lot younger. This was years ago. And they finally capture the last demon, who is a silhouette at this point, and all 13 are done. They have this kind of agreement where it's oh no, we all these ghosts are around us. We need to get away. What are we going to do? So Mortifer offers himself to distract the ghost so that Vincent can get away. And in doing so, we see Mortifer get killed by all these ghosts. the bush that he gets pulled into just explodes.
I like that they gave some more backstory to the whole thing, that this all started when Vincent and Mortifer hunted down the three, well, what was supposed to be, it's not like the only ghosts in the world, but they're basically like the head of all ghosts. Like they're the leaders. They keep the ghosts organized and things like that. So it's like, if you think Game of Thrones style, it'd be like, taking down all the major houses or something like that.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think that's really cool. I like that it was like, the animation for it was a lot more of that like sepia kind of tone to make it feel like you're seeing something that's older.
Mm-hmm.
That was done super well. And that was actually some of my, like, they do the flashbacks a couple times, and that's actually some of my favorite parts of this movie is seeing that stuff. Because I was like, man, I would watch like a show about these two guys hunting down these 13 ghosts and like it better than the original show.
Yeah, I like how it was like this movie was like a sandwich sort of. If 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is the middle of the sandwich, this is both of the slices of bread. This is, I think it just like it matches it so perfectly. It fits it so well. Like you said, it's a great way to intro everything. You could almost watch this in part prior to 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, but it is nice to have that like flashback to be like, okay, so now I can tie that back to 13 Ghosts and this makes sense now. Because then when they do start the actual 13 Ghosts like series, it's almost like you don't really have much idea like what's going on or how they were captured before. It was just Shaggy and Scooby being tricked into opening it by those two ghost henchmen.
One was weird.
Yeah, it was like weird and
weird, strangely.
WEERD or something.
Yeah, they don't make an appearance in this, and they are never mentioned, and I'm a little bummed about that because I think that would have been cool, and I think that's a miss. I
don't think it's a miss, and I'll tell you why towards the end when we're talking about it. I think it is good that they didn't.
Well, yeah, there's a reason why.
Yeah,
I think that they weren't mentioned, but I think it just would have been cool to see kind of some sort of homage to them, whether it's just like two dudes that look similar to them, like hanging out in the background or something. That'd be kind of cool. But
another notable character from 13 Ghosts who didn't appear was Scrappy-Doo.
Oh, man, I love the joke about Scrappy. That was so good.
I was wondering. So the joke is like when they mention Scrappy-Doo, and we'll talk about it when it gets there, but when they mention him, Velma's just like, what's a Scrappy? I was like, oh man, they've really just like removed him from the canon altogether. But then I was like,
yeah,
did Velma and Fred ever meet Scrappy, or was that always just a Scooby, Shaggy, Daphne thing?
That's a really good point, and I don't know the answer to that. I feel like there had to have been Scrappy in some of the actual shows at some point.
That's what I was
obviously
thinking
not
too.
The original.
No.
But some of the later ones, he had to have crossed paths. So maybe it's just that they hate Scrappy as much as we all do.
Well, that's why they removed Scrappy from the canon now, is because fans just revolted against him.
Well, because he's terrible. He's a horrible character.
And that's why he's the villain in that Scooby-Doo movie. I never saw it.
Yeah,
but
which
I heard
is hilarious.
Yeah. And so I was just wondering, like, the only time I was doing a little bit of mini research trying to find out, but I couldn't get a final answer on it. The series that Scrappy's in with Scooby is like the Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo Hour or something like that. And so it's like an individual series, but it only has Shaggy, Scooby, and Daphne in it. It doesn't have Fred and Velma. Like they were just away for a bit. Scrappy was almost like coming in as their replacement, and it wasn't. And that's when it started focusing more on like the comedic aspect of it. Because even Daphne was taken out of some of it, because I don't think she was in a lot of the movies like Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School or the Boo Brothers and stuff like that.
A lot of it just became Shaggy and Scooby and Scrappy. And yeah, some of them Daphne was in just to get those like young boys watching to keep watching, like if they're not here for the comedy, at least we'll get them here. So some really interesting things here. Well, for one, when we first see the Scooby gang, they catch what you're led to believe is the wrong person, and they're trying to pull this guy's face off, and it's his actual face.
Yeah.
And they get in trouble with the sheriff and stuff, and he's just like, you guys are almost 18. If you do this again by that point, like, I'm going to arrest you. And like basically tells them they got to retire. And I was just like, oh man, that's crazy. So like they're all like bummed out. Like they sell the mystery machine and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I say they're bummed out, but Shaggy and Scooby are having the time of their lives.
They're
so
ready
happy
to retire. They never wanted to do this in the first place.
They're relaxing on the front lawn of the yard sale where they're selling all the gear in those Hawaiian shirts. And that's where we do get to see Shaggy in a red shirt because he's wearing a red Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So
this does. So he's not wearing it long, but it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the one who's mainly hurt over this or really disturbed by it is Fred. He's the one who's just the most like, what do I even do now? And it kind of makes sense because like these kids have been allowed to kind of be vigilante detectives for so long with like no opposition. And so it makes sense that they would mess up sometimes. And here's the repercussions of that. And it's like, guys, you can't just go around doing this. This is the detective. He's like, I caught the real, or sheriff, I caught the real person. Here she is. You guys were wrong. So you got to stop doing this because it's like criminal negligence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That leads us to the point where they're at the garage sale and some guy, Bernie something, I can't remember his last name. He like pulls out this crystal ball and is like, hey, how much for this? And they are like, oh, no, that's not for sale. And then the moment I think either Daphne or Shaggy touches it, like it starts to light up green like it did back in the old show. And that's where Vincent Van Gogh has been trying to contact them.
He's just kind of talking about the 13th ghost and everything. And I think is funny. I like how they play this off is that, Scooby and Shaggy are immediately like alerted. Daphne's just kind of like, I can't believe it. And she's kind of happy to talk to him. But like Fred and Velma don't know about this because they weren't in that original series. And I think it's really funny that they're just like, oh, wait, we never told you about that? That whole summer you guys were gone and we went on this adventure and tracked down all these ghosts.
Yeah,
and
tracked down all these real
Vincent
ghosts.
Van Gogh and Flim Flam. All of that. And they just never said anything about it.
Because this is sort of a cross of universes where, you know, in 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, they were hunting real ghosts and capturing these real ghosts. And then as far as Velma and Fred know, all of the monsters and stuff are just like people in masks. So it's sort of a cross here where that's one of Velma's main driving points is like, I don't believe in ghosts. I believe in science and none of this makes sense. And this whole time, like she's combating the fact that there is a 13th ghost at all.
Yeah, I just love the idea that Daphne is just kind of like, oh, we forgot to tell you that ghosts actually are real.
Yeah.
Whoops.
and she's like, we didn't mention it because, Scooby was kind of traumatized by it all. So we just didn't talk about it.
It gave Scooby depression or something.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to bring it up. Oh, poor dog.
And Velma and Fred were off at camp. That's where they left it at right then.
So I have a question for you real quick. How do you feel? Because there's some big role reversals in this movie. And, you know, in the last few Scooby-Doo things we've watched, it's sort of been taking place where Daphne's a lot more at the forefront and Fred's starting to take more of a back seat. You were a fan of the original Scooby-Doo and stuff, right? Like,
yeah.
We've never covered that original show yet, but we will someday. So, like, what are your thoughts with Daphne and Fred's characters changing so much where Daphne's becoming more of the leader and Fred is way more often than not, he's the butt of the joke. Like he's more of the comedy than like Shaggy or Scooby is anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think?
I actually like it because beforehand, Daphne didn't really have a purpose at all. She was just the damsel in distress. And Fred was just kind of a, macho leader guy, not like talking down or condescending or anything at the time. It was just like that was his role. So I appreciate that Daphne is able to take on more of a leadership role because she is really intelligent and she has these great plans. She's just always been kind of subservient to Fred because Fred was the de facto leader, but that wasn't necessarily where he belonged because his plans were often just like what was the show we were watching? Was it Mystery Incorporated where he was just like always laying out the traps and stuff? Like that's Fred is just laying out these traps. He's like classic, almost Hardy Boy mystery kind of guy. Like he's stuck in that realm of solving mysteries. and Daphne's more level-headed, so I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I actually like it too. I'm almost surprised that I do, because I do like the original material so much. But you're right in that they were too cookie cutter of characters that just were not fleshed out enough. Yeah, it was just a damsel and then the Hardy boy kind of guy. And now it's become more of like, she's almost kind of the leader now. And especially in this, like, she changes her look. She's like got gadgets and things like that. She has a van full of all kinds of technology and stuff like that no one knew about, which is kind of funny.
The mystery machine.
Yeah. And a lot of this, there's this side story going on aside from the 13th Ghost of those two trying to figure out their place in all this, of Fred feeling like a failure in everything and not knowing who he really is anymore. And Daphne feeling like she's becoming the person she's meant to be, but she's unsure of it because Fred's always been the leader. And I like that character progression with those two a lot. It's actually really good. And Fred really, he figures out himself. He's like, I'm not the leader. He's more the glue. He calls himself the cheerleader, but he is the glue that keeps them all together. He doesn't have to lead them.
He's the heart of the team.
Yeah.
I really like that too. Like, I didn't know how I was going to feel about it because they were really making it like, man, Fred's just been sad this whole movie. It's like, what's going to end up happening? And I didn't know that's how they were going to how they were going to resolve it. But I was really happy when they finally did. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like, I never really thought of Fred like that, but he is always the one who's like, guys, we can do this. Keeping everyone together, keeping everyone like
he's the
motivated.
Hype man.
Exactly. He's a hype man.
If this was a rap song, he'd be going like, yeah. Oh yeah.
He's the guy at the end of he's the guy at the end of the Crossfire commercial who's just like, yeah.
We do make a lot of Crossfire references in our daily lives, don't we?
Yeah.
So let's get to some of the fun stuff here with everything that happens. So they got to go back to the where it all started, the Himalayas, really.
Mm-hmm.
What's really funny is the big problem is the 13th Ghost, which we know to be called Asmodeus, is out there, has not been captured, and he is looking for the chest, the demon chest or whatever. And the others lost it. Like Shaggy and Vincent, I guess, had mailed it back and forth to each other, and somewhere along the way, like, they don't know where it really is because they both goofed it up. So they go back to the Himalayas thinking it's going to be there, and they get separated fairly quickly, I believe, when they get there, like where it does go into the Shaggy, Scooby, Daphne group, and then Fred and Velma by themselves. And I think that's kind of cool because it does sort of splinter the group to the point where it is really where Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby can kind of pick back up with where they left off.
Yeah, which actually works out really well because, as you mentioned earlier, Flim Flam is in this, and it's the separated Velma and Fred who run into him, but he's older now. He's a teenager now, so he had a growth spurt, and he's a lot less annoying. I actually like Flim Flam in this, which is surprising.
I know, it's crazy. I gotta give him credit for fixing that character because he was like, he honestly, and you've probably heard me say it, he's one of the worst characters of all time, if not the worst character of all time. But this totally fixed him in every possible way.
Yeah, it was the best way to bring him back. And he still has the same kind of attitude. He's still like a swindler. He's still like, he's a great salesman. And
he runs a tourist trap shop.
Exactly. Runs a tourist trap. And like Velma and Fred don't know who he is. Like, they just accidentally run into him. He doesn't say his name or anything, but he's like, oh yeah, I have the chest of demons. And so he shows it to them, and Velma, I think, opens it, and it's like shooting up the like ray of light like the old chest did. And then it's like she's super scared. Everyone's really scared. And then he pulls out like a cold soda out of it. And he's like, oh yeah, that's the cooler version of it. There's also a phone charger version and all these different versions of it. And so he's just like capitalizing off of the chest of demons being popular in this region.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like any other tourist trap kind of place, which I think that's funny because that keeps happening like multiple times in the movie. a character thinks they have the chest and they open it. It's just another cooler.
Yeah.
I think that's great. It was a gag that I really enjoyed.
Oh, someone else we should mention is this creepy car, this Phantom Racer. Phantom Racer
Yeah, that was weird.
was, I think, from the original Scooby-Doo series. He was one of the villains. The car didn't look exactly like that, but it was kind of the same idea. So it's this like black sports car that has like a green trail of fire behind it, and it's following them around. Like, we don't know why it's there, and it apparently has no driver in it when they pull up next to it. So it's really just trying to
kill them at one point.
Yeah, it's trying to throw them off course and kill them so that they don't get the chest or can't complete their mission. We don't know exactly why it's there at first, but that is something that recurs a few times. In revving its engine, it actually causes a couple avalanches, and those avalanche scenes are really good. Like,
they were.
I guess I'll just say in general, the animation in this movie was great. Like, everything about it was like, this is the way that I prefer this show to be animated, where it still pays respect to the classic like look, but it's very cleaned up and very modernized.
And they also, like, because we were talking about how they changed Flim Flam a bit and improved upon his character, and they did, things with Fred and Daphne. They also changed Vincent a little bit, and they made him a little bit more of a comedic figure. And not like purposely, really. It's just like because it's a Vincent Price type character. And in the original, like, he would make these sort of tongue-in-cheek, spooky, Halloween-y type puns with stuff.
A lot of spooky puns.
Here they just went as exaggerated as possible with it, just made it ridiculous. And it's really funny, especially like when he says one, and then you see like Velma and the others just staring at him like all disapproving and stuff. And he's like, oh, sorry. It's just, I love those.
Like, he's talking about like this house that he had, or the Himalayan house that he had in 13 Ghost was actually like an Air Boo and Boo rental. Yeah. And then like he has a die phone, and he sends packages through the Ghostal service. It's things like that. Yes. And it's stuff that I love. I love hearing it because it is paying respect to the classic one, but it's almost like bringing him out of the past into the present without changing anything about him. So it's just like a fish out of water kind of thing, but it works so well.
Yeah, they have his character just play it straight, and then he kind of realizes he's annoying everybody. He's just like, oh, and then he'll apologize or something.
Yeah, just one more, and then I'll stop.
I loved that. That was great. The things got like semi-serious here. There's some interesting things. Oh, I did want to say at one point, Fred and Velma get like grabbed up by something, but it's in a fog and we can't see it. And I just want to mention that for a specific reason that you'll find out later.
That is what makes Velma start believing in ghosts at that point.
Yes.
That kind of like, she loses her glasses and she's like, oh my gosh, like maybe this is all real. And so she becomes a believer at that point, and then goes back to Flim Flam's shop to get, because he showed them all these, like, he has like a hidden like a vault area in the back of his shop that's like ghost weaponry or just monster weapons in general.
It's like Sam and Dean Winchester's wet dream is what Flim Flam has behind his shop. It's just this giant arsenal of like ghost and demon and werewolf and vampire. He had all those things. Then they go and they're ready to like arm up. So like Asmodeus' design was pretty cool. He's like kind of the stereotypical demon you would kind of expect. Like, he's really big and burly, got like these big wings. He's got horns on his head, big teeth. Like, it's pretty awesome, honestly.
Yeah, he looks pretty cool. He's kind of like a cartoonish, I don't know, like Diablo figure.
Yeah, like I was thinking like a Diablo mixed with a gargoyle kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that when they say ghost, it's not so general that it's like all these just like transparent human figures. Like, these ghosts are like, can look like demons, can look like all kinds of different stuff. Oh, yeah. Just like in the original series.
Yeah, I liked how in the original series, each of the 13 ghosts were very different looking and had different power sets and did different things and very different personalities, which were really cool. At one point, and I like that they did this because for whatever reason, I just didn't expect it. But Shaggy and Scooby did do one of the classic gags of them dressing up as something. And like, you kind of suspend disbelief a little bit as the villain like kind of falls for it and just goes along with it, which is they're dressed as these monks because Asmodeus has fled to this temple with the chest. And they're dressed as monks in there, and they're like meditating, and they're trying to tell him that he needs to center himself and meditate and do all this stuff.
Find inner peace.
Yeah. Like he's like trying to meditate. He's making the noises and stuff. They throw the robe over him and then grab the chest and try to run, which was great. No, I wasn't sure what was going to happen here, but I thought what was interesting was like everything kind of comes to a head, and Asmodeus kind of has them like dead to rights, honestly. But that's when Vincent kind of explains, or was it Vincent that explained it, or was it someone else that found it? That Asmodeus was actually his ancestor who basically started the whole thing. And because his ancestor became so evil and corrupt, he became like this big, the 13th ghost.
Yeah,
which is really interesting.
Like, Vincent knew that he just needed, he just wasn't revealing it at first.
Yeah,
and
he
then
didn't
he was kind of put on the spot. And that's where he was like, yeah, my ancestor was like an evil, like wizard, he was like a powerful wizard. He became evil. Like he got corrupted by power. And that's when he had to get kind of sealed in this chest. And in the time that he was in there, he sort of like further practiced his demonic powers and whatever, and summoned all these other ghosts. And that's where he kind of worked up this small army. And so that was kind of like how he was saying, this is it, because he was blaming himself. And they're like, it's not your fault. And he's like, yes, it is. And here's why. I bear the burden of my ancestors. There was this portrait in his house that like kind of looked like him, but Shaggy had like commented on it saying like, well, I hope you didn't pay much for that picture because it doesn't look much like you. And he just kind of is silent at that point. That's where it kind of comes back to that foreshadow. And it is an interesting story. I like the way that they took that.
I do too. And it becomes like a kind of somber moment here. Like I said, like Asmodeus kind of has them all dead to rights. And like Vincent's like, this is my fight. And I'm sorry that I dragged you into this. And he does like a spell and like banishes the others from the temple.
Well, he doesn't do a spell because notably magic isn't working for him right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
His magic has been blocked. He's having a wizard's block or something.
I forgot what he did. So he broke something, didn't he?
Yeah, he got his crystal ball and he like threw it down at the ground and broke it. And there was this flash of light that kind of blinded everyone.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the whole gang, like when they come to, like they are outside of the castle altogether.
Yeah. So like Vincent Van Gogh is seemingly going to sacrifice himself to stop Asmodeus, or at least if Asmodeus won, he didn't want them to be there, when it happened. So yeah, that was really cool. It was a really somber, serious kind of moment in a cartoon that was really goofy and fun. So I really enjoyed that. That's something I always enjoy seeing in a cartoon like this.
I think this was a great mixture of all of that. Like it had the really silly moments, like top of the list being when Scooby and Shaggy did their dress up bit. None of it really felt out of place. It kind of flowed in such a way that there was a good balance of serious moments and then goofy moments, which really any good Scooby-Doo cartoon should be. And this is no exception. So after that happens, like we see like pretty much everyone giving up. Everyone is down when they're out there in the snow. They're just like, what were we thinking? Like, we can't do this. We can't help. There's nothing we can do right now. And that's where Fred like makes the reveal that we were talking about earlier, where he's like, when I was at camp away from you guys, when this whole 13 Ghosts thing was going on, I was at cheerleader camp because I'm not a leader. I'm a cheerleader. And that's where he makes that realization for himself too, that because he was having, like I said, this identity crisis the whole time of like, where do I belong in this team? If I'm not the leader, what do I do? I'm not supposed to be the leader. Daphne's a great new leader. I'm the heart of the team. I keep it all together. Like you said, I'm the glue that holds this team together and also super inspirational. And so he does some little cheers.
He literally whips out some pom-poms,
inspiring them to get back to the fight and help out Vincent.
Yeah, and they do. They find a way back in with the help of like Flim Flam and stuff like that, which it was cool to see like everyone together for the first time, like the Scooby gang and Flim Flam. And then when they get back in, also Vincent, that was kind of cool to see just everybody in one place.
That's where Flim Flam comments. He's like, the whole gang's together. But where's Scrappy? And that's where Velma does her whole thing.
Just, what's a
Everyone's
Scrappy?
forgotten Scrappy. Yeah.
I thought it was funny, too, because he didn't recognize Shaggy at first because he was just like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen you anything but a red shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were like, uh-huh.
Because she was like, Daphne, your hair's different. You're dressed a little different. Shaggy, I've never seen you wear anything but red. And Scooby, you're exactly the same.
Yeah, so they get back in, and we also see this random guy that they've seen a couple times. The guy that was at their yard sale that was originally trying to buy the crystal ball.
Bernie Allen.
Bernie Allen. They see him a few times in the Himalayas and stuff, too, but he shows up back here. Turns out he's an Interpol agent in disguise. Also, one thing that's weird, too, is Asmodeus does open the chest, but everyone's like, wait a minute. And well, I was thinking at first, and I was like, well, that's a plot hole. But then Daphne says it. The chest can only be opened by humans. It does turn into the typical Scooby-Doo episode. It's somebody in disguise. It's not really a ghost. It's actually Mortifer, Vincent Van Gogh's old buddy, who faked his own death and kind of stabbed him in the back, to be honest.
Well, okay. And here's where, and we don't have to talk about the whole ending or anything, but here's what I really liked about it was that it was a nice mixture of, yes, maybe ghosts are real, but also maybe they're not. Maybe it is just like has been just guys in disguise this whole time. Because Velma kind of stepped back and was like, oh, I don't believe in ghosts anymore. Like we got picked up by a ski lift. When you think back on it, you're like, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. You don't see it. And so a lot of it is left up in the air where it's like, maybe not. Yeah. Like, did Vincent ever have magic? We don't know. Like, what happened when he broke that thing?
I got very confused by this whole part. They mucked this thing pretty deep. Where it's like, okay, we did see some magic happen. In the original, the ghosts were real and were definitely doing things. I mean, heck, they got sucked into a television and were living the Frankenstein movie at one point. But then when Mortifer is trying to get away, this bridge he's driving across collapses in, and we for a second see a split, like just a few second version of Asmodeus's like the demon look in a ghost kind of form in this like cloud that comes up from it that turns into Vincent's ancestor Asimod and then moves on, and it's they're kind of talking about like, oh, like he's finally at peace. He was actually helping us. He wasn't the one.
Yeah.
Like Mortifer was the one we were fighting. Asimod was actually trying to help.
And Velma was kind of translating the scriptures that said like,
yeah,
it says revenge, but it can also be translated as redemption. And this was Asimod's redemption moment.
And this is what confused me was after that, when she said all that stuff, once Vincent was kind of out of the picture and the gang was getting ready to go home, Velma said, oh, I made all of that up. Like, I just wanted him to, I didn't want to, step on his, good feelings and stuff like that. And she's like, there never was a 13th ghost. It was a translation error. It was just never a thing. So then I'm like, what? So did they basically make it all pointless?
Well, she was just saying, she was stepping back and saying like, these ghosts just don't exist. Like everyone else, though, is still on the side of like, yes, they do. Like we lived it or whatever. And she's like, oh, no, it's just like hallucinations or illusions because of the high altitude of the Himalayas and whatever, just making excuses as she would. But it is a great blend of like, well, it could be, but you don't really ever see anything that like makes it for sure that it was. Like you never see any magic in this version. You never see any ghost.
Yeah, like not in this movie, but in the other one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so they leave it open to interpretation. And even at the end, like the kind of the almost a closing thing is like she's about to open the chest to show them. And everyone's like, oh, no, don't do it. And then she's like, OK, I'll just leave it up to it's fine. I'll just leave it be. And so even we are left questioning, like, was it real? Like, are ghosts real in this universe? We don't know either. So I like that because I think it was a great way to approach this. If they had kept the like ghost gang in like Weird and his companion, then it would have been too definite. Like, okay, ghosts exist. So the fact that they left that out was purposeful and I think for the better.
Yeah, I like that too. That's why I didn't want to see them in it, but I wanted some sort of homage to them, and that would have been really cool.
Like if they had mentioned it,
Yeah, if they had, mentioned the names, or like we said, we see something just in their likeness in the background would be cool.
And I don't know if we'll ever see Flim Flam again, but I liked that his closeout line was "So long, sports fans," because that's what he used to say in the series. I was like, oh man,
the way he said it here it felt good.
Yeah,
like he said it like it's a very much like it was a heartfelt way he said it, and so they did such a good job with him in this one.
Well, Chris, it looks like it's about time we send our inner kids off to meet up with Scooby and the gang, mainly to try and make them remember Scrappy, then see what they thought of Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost.
Wait. So you're telling me that none of the ghosts are real? Even in the original cartoon, were they real? I think for once Velma is finally wrong. Or is she? Is she even the real Velma? No. The real Velma was snatched up along with Fred and murdered off-screen. Then the real 13th ghost took her place, which is why she wasn't wearing her glasses when her and Fred showed back up, and she was acting kind of weird, and then she didn't open the chest, not because she wasn't afraid, but because she can't. She's the 13th ghost pretending to be Velma and spreading her lies about ghosts not being real to throw them off her track, while the real Velma's corpse lay frozen in the snowbanks in the Himalayas. At least there wasn't a Scrappy-Doo. So I gave this cartoon 4 bowls of What's a Scrappy cereal out of 5.
Although I had mixed feelings about the original 13 Ghosts series, mainly because of Flim Flam, this movie served as a pretty great way to finally close it out. As far as pros go, there were delicious spooky puns, Fred and Daphne's character development was pretty solid, and bringing Flim Flam back, sans all his previous annoying qualities, was a surprisingly welcome addition. As for cons, some of the scenes felt a little forced, but nothing overly so, and also, there was no Scrappy-Doo. I'm just kidding, I'm throwing that in with the pros. Overall, I'd give Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost 4.5 big bowls of So Long Sports Fan cereal out of 5. I think this one's definitely worth the watch, especially to witness Flim Flam's redemption.
Is it too late to just erase Scrappy from everything that's ever been done?
I feel like...
Is that possible?
I feel like they're trying to.
Yeah, moving forward. Is there a way to go back in time and just remove him from everything?
A big problem that I remember having with the original 13 Ghosts series was that Flim Flam was thrown in there when Scrappy was already taking that place. But now that I've seen what Flim Flam can become, I want to retroactively say that I wish they would have removed Scrappy and just kept Flim Flam, and then he could have just been that character at that time.
It was dumb in the original. Like, they were basically the same character. But at least they got rid of that and they made Flim Flam a better character. So, I mean, overall, it was a really decent movie. It had some really fun parts. I was a little like I said, not sure about the ending, but I like that they ended it in classic Scooby-Doo fashion, which was cool. Unmasking somebody and all that stuff. And there was a lot of nice callbacks, like Scrappy missing, which is funny, the Shaggy red shirt gag and all that stuff. So, yeah, it was a really good time. I really enjoyed it.
It was a great love letter to the Scooby-Doo franchise in general, not just 13 Ghosts, but even like adding the Phantom Racer in there. That's just like a classic villain who it's like, I don't know why they decided to bring that one back, but it kind of makes sense. They make it work in the movie. Just having those classic gags that you don't usually see in the newer movies.
Yeah.
It's nice to have them kind of stepping back while also staying modern with it. And it's a good blend of the Scooby-Doo universe in general. Minus Scrappy-Doo.
I agree.
We do have one more 5-star review this week.
Hey.
On Apple Podcasts. This is from DL and Fan. Again, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And the review goes like this. I love this podcast. Saturday morning cartoon boom.
Wait, that was it?
Well, yeah. Well, we love you. We love you. So
yeah, we love you too, DL and fam. The end.
Thank you so much for that. And yeah, if you haven't left a review yet, please do that. That would really be helpful for us.
That'd be super cool. And I just want to mention and thank everybody who's been listening. We have really picked up lately. We're up to the highest we've ever been on a regular basis, listener-wise. So that's really cool, really inspiring, and really what keeps us going with this whole thing. So I just wanted to say thank you. So thank you, Space City Erlin and Caitlin, MLP fan Forever 27, for suggesting this to us. Like I said, it was one that we would have ended up watching eventually, but I'm glad you brought it to our attention so soon. So we got to start off our October celebration with it.
Yeah, you didn't just bring it to our eyes and ears, you brought it to our hearts.
And you helped redeem Flim Flam for us, which is really the biggest win.
That's the biggest thing to take away from this episode is redemption. This is an episode about redemption. You know? I mean, we talked about it with Azimod, but really the real redemption was Flim Flam.
And still, we are casting out Scrappy instead. I never had a huge problem with Scrappy, but now that Flim Flam's back and he's better than ever, I never want to see Scrappy again. So there. Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. So in 2 weeks, for the next episode of our October celebration, we'll be watching...
Joseph, pick a number between 1 and 5.
Oh, man. 4.
We'll be watching My Pet Monster, submitted via Instagram by NJ Horror.
Oh, man. Wait, is that the old movie with the blue monster with the orange handcuffs?
I don't know.
Yes, I had that toy. I never watched this cartoon, though, so it'll be interesting to jump into that.
Yeah.
Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.